So I just want to talk about this error that I've made. I was going to bother looking on Facebook to find out actually where the mistake went, but um, from my memory, I couldn't. I've got so many things posted on my Facebook that going down them just is I can't bother. So I'm just going to tell it from my memory. My memory is that I started off with that Nelly and Kelly song, and I kind of named. I said the only person that this would link to is Big Brother, and then I was thinking it's getting hot in here, and it's I don't know. I was listening to all of Nelly's songs, and it seemed to link to Big Brother, and then for some reason I kind of switched on to 50 Cent, and then continued the theme of thinking that this guy represents Big Brother, and then I've looked at the playlist, and the majority of the playlist is all 50 Cent, so I haven't really added Nelly's songs in there. But yeah, it's really strange because I put the Nelly and Kelly song up there, and I don't know, it's like I confused Nelly with 50 Cent, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know what my brain sometimes doesn't work, but I feel like some things like that happen for a reason, and I do feel like actually that is kind of what's going to happen with the show. Like I'm going to start off perhaps in a UK or just in a smaller low key Big Brother, and then switch over to uh, one that's probably going to be in America and going to be very different. And yeah, again, it shouldn't be based on these singers and what they've sung technically. If they have just been given a name, they can technically do whatever they want. Likewise, the producers of the show can do what they want. But yeah, I feel like both Nelly and 50 Cent have this sort of Big Brother title. But I think I'm going to name it Part One and Part Two. I don't know if there's any significance in that. Like I've just had a brief look through Nelly's songs, and I don't actually know if all of his songs link to it because I feel like I named him that just after listening to three songs, and then I've somehow switched on to 50 Cent and continued that name. So, but hey, there could be two angels with the same name, right? And especially if I plan to be on two Big Brothers, a sort of more normal, low key one versus a probably one that's going to be a lot darker. But yeah, I feel almost like my brain just saw them as the same person, even though they look quite different and are very different. But I'm not watching these songs, you know. I'm there's loads and loads and loads of songs out there, and I kind of I've been trying to stay away from music ever since I moved into this house. I try to just like forget about it and pretend that songs aren't about me because believing that they're about me whilst doing such a shitty job. I'm doing the shitty job because I've got nothing better to do. And, you know, if you're listening to songs and trying to read into them, you know, every song seems like it's telling me that something's about to happen soon. And it's been doing this for a very long time, and it's causing me a huge amount of grief. I've just come across the Shantae one. I mean, technically, I've had it as my alarm clock. That foolish song I've had as my alarm clock for ages. And okay, yes, Murdering and Shanti are the first names that you hear. Hence, if I was to look up an artist, you would have thought I would have looked up her name. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I guess a part of me thought that I was only using that song because you know the singers and celebrities are kind of bullying me, and I didn't want to look up her name because I don't want her to be another one of the ones that bully me. Although I don't think she's done that many songs. I've seen one of a newer one that was done a few months ago, which looks like she's been in some sort of terrible relationship where she gets beaten. So I don't know what her life has been like. I haven't looked up her name. I try and actually. I think the singers that I most liked, or specifically singers that I think Aaliyah liked, are singers that I'm trying to avoid because you know I hate hating people that she would have considered a friend. You know, it's not nice to be in a completely different situation, a completely different life, and then start turning on the people that were your friends in a past life. You know, so I feel like that's how I feel towards Brandy and I don't even know her name, Tony or something, Toni. I'm sure there's another one, like Tony Braxton. That name just came into my head. But um, I, yeah, I don't know. I've been avoiding a lot of people who I thought would have been close to Aaliyah for reasons because I know that I'm getting angry at these singers for doing things about me behind my back and for not helping me. You know, I don't know what kind of life they're living, but if they are living nice lives in nice mansions, then it's horrible to know that I'm not doing any of that, and I'm actually struggling. I'm not struggling financially, but I'm keeping everything very cheap because I don't want to struggle financially. Hence, if you don't spend money, then you don't need money. Hence, you don't feel like you're struggling financially. But technically, my life is pretty shit. And yeah, I think both Nelly and 50 Cent are the Big Brother are have that Big Brother title. But I feel like maybe it shows because I think that's how it will be. I'll be on one show, then it'll switch to another show, and it might not even be called this other one. Might I mean I think it could be called. I mean technically, Big Brother is just a group of people, anonymous people all around the world, and whoever owns the right to a specific show. It's not about the whole company as a group. It's more about um, it's about whoever is in that specific group. And I think if there's one that's going to be aimed at getting payback on the world by seeing who claims to love God and yet wants to hurt me, hence proving that they don't love God. I feel like that's the purpose of this show. And I think this show should be run by people who want payback. And there's lots of people that have the right to want this. Um, Rihanna does have a, a she's done a lot of shit to me, but at the same time, I feel like she probably had some shitty lives in her past. And so she has a lot of anger from that. And I think a lot of people have a lot of anger from things that happened in their past lives. I'm sure there was a lot of people burnt for being a witch, even though witches don't exist. And all they wanted to do was practice, a love spell or just good luck spell, and what they get murdered for it. I mean, there's some shitty things that have happened in the past, and people who are completely intolerant, they can be dangerous, especially if they think they're doing things by the will of God when really they're not. And okay, now that people know who God is and knows that she actually wants payback, doing things by the will of God when you are actually doing things by the will of God is um I don't know what's around the corner, and I just feel like I don't care, but at the same time I do. Like I would say that I'd want everyone, like I hate everyone, I want them to die, but it's just like technically if living is suffering, then I don't want you to die. I want you to live and suffer, and then it's just like, yeah, how am I supposed to get payback when I think the best way to get payback is to literally just do nothing, because the world is very good at punishing each other. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clearer. It's interesting. I'm going to a Greece concert that my sister got me some tickets for. I think it's massively reduced. I think if you go during the week, or it's on like properly like next week, for like £50 or something. And I got my sister gave me some cheaper tickets. But it's interesting how I come across the shanty song, and she's dressed up like that Greece. I think they must have done some sort of Greece festival, but this would have been 10 years ago or something. I don't know when she did that, but that song just reminded me of something that's I know that I'm meant to look at her songs right now, and if she's payback, I feel like it's a sign that payback is going to come very very soon. But yeah, me confusing Nelly with 50 Cent, I feel like that's just how it's going to be with these two Big Brother shows. They're going to be different, just like Nelly and 50 Cent are different people. I feel like they're going to be joined together. The show that I'm first in versus the show that I'm second in. I'm the world will see it as two different things, two different people. But I would see it as the same thing. And so, yeah, it feels weird that that's happened though, because I don't know what they would be thinking. Like, think, thinking that I don't know, if someone's confused me with someone who plays blonde, but that's about it, blonde and white. I'd be like, we're not the same person. But yeah, anyway, I think I saw you as being the same person because it shows how I feel like the two Big Brother shows are going to be.